Hey y'all, what to do? What's up? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you for tuning in. I wanted to come and talk to y'all really super duper quick before I get into actually watching Love and Marriage Huntsville. We are in part 3 of the reunion, but I was considering talking about this with the last part, but I honestly didn't want to have the review be such a long behind video. So I'm just going to go ahead and do what I initially thought, which is just make a separate video that I told y'all in the last one I watched, y'all, the shoot the okay, y'all make sure to go watch that video because it is uploaded. At the end of it, I told y'all just give y'all a separate video because I didn't have time to talk about all of the philandering lies that Miss Destiny, is her last name Payton? Miss Destiny Payton was out here spewing over there on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So if you haven't heard, Miss Destiny basically was trying to allude with using a very hot buzzword that Miss Melody Holtz was grooming her for a little menage a trois, okay? With a little trois on it, emphasis on the trois, okay? A little menage a trois. But you know, in the capacity in which it was a threesome, which you were alluding her to, Destiny, or trying to say that she was, you know, grooming you for. A threesome means 3 people. So if you are having issue that you were being groomed for this, you know, entrapment, that means also as well you should have a problem with Martell. But seemingly you don't. So what you're trying to say is that Melody was the one that was grooming you for this incident or for this entrapment of this threesome. So if it was the fact that they, as in the 2 people, the couple, why don't you have any heat for Mr. Martell Holt over there? See, this is where Destiny really kind of backed herself into a corner. And this idea of trying to make, you know, Melody this villain and this woman who was, you know, making her nervous and had her at fear, you know, for her Uchinana being snatched, okay? She thought her coochie was getting snatched at Melody in Martell's house. She was so scared to sleep there. A whole bunch of stuff, y'all. So this clip wasn't even a part of the reunion, or what Destiny said wasn't even actually a part of the reunion. I guess it was cut from the reunion that was televised, but nonetheless, Philo still had it, okay? Which is why Carlos King, you ain't, okay? Which is why Melody had a problem and left y'all ass because she was tired of y'all playing on her head top. So I'm assuming either Carlos or OWN, they gave Philo the real long clip because they knew it was going to draw attention or whatever, but then televised a different one because at the end of the day, Melody was not going to have them playing with her. The minute the description got released, Melody was on top of it, okay? And I'm very much sure that, you know, she probably threatened the legal action because you don't play that, especially with the word like grooming. You know, when you hear grooming, a lot of the times it typically goes in the instance of there is a power dynamic in which one person has more power over the other. And it takes a lot of time and influence, you know, when it comes to using the word, quote unquote, grooming that Destiny was trying to use. But the time that you were saying, you know, Melody was doing all these things, your examples didn't have anything to do with you. So you see how us as viewers or as onlookers are having a hard time believing, Destiny, that you really just were, you know, nervous and that fear that you had a couple coming on to you for a little menage a trois. Okay, it just wasn't making any sense. The math was not math to Miss Destiny Payton. So the first clip, you know, she was really trying to push in on, or go heavy in on the fact of, you know, you know, she was like, why are y'all always talking about like, you know, your favorite position and talking about threesomes. And then she was like, Melody was sitting there talking about that she would have gave Martell that had he not, you know, been effing around with coleslaw. And is that a conversation that I believe happened? Yeah, but what does that got to do with your ass? else, okay? But back to it, you're saying, oh, Melody, she would have been open to it had Martell acted right, which I feel like a lot of women who are in relationships, that's not unfamiliar, Destiny. You're not saying anything that's just like, gas. People in couples in relationships, women sometimes call it quote unquote rewarding their man. Oh, I'll give him, a little spicy something this. And then they've been together for 10 years. So at that point, typically, usually couples are looking for different things to spice it up in the intimacy area. So a threesome is not just, mind-blowing, Destiny, but you're putting it out there because you're wanting to make Melody look bad. This is what is happening. Destiny is on her mission to make Melody hurt or look bad. And I don't know, maybe potentially create a problem with her so she has a reason to beef with her. But too bad for you, Destiny. Melody ain't coming back. Okay, so it looks like you ain't finna have no screen time with Melody, because if it's like you go back and forth when trying to love on this woman, you sitting there whispering, I love you and I'm sorry on the girls trip, but then you leave every time you with Melody, you're ass kissing, but then when you leave, you're going back. You got back from the girls trip just talking mad cash money, and literally we're talking with Martell on the bench in the episode. You came back from the trip that you said you and Melody like were good on, like y'all finally ended somewhat copacetically, for you to just get back and still be like talking behind this woman's back. So you're confusing us as viewers, because it's like, but I thought you said this woman was, you were at fear. I thought you said you were at fear of this woman, like you were not feeling comfortable around this woman. But yet, you're steady doing everything you can. Because, girl, when I tell you was playing musical chairs over there to make sure you sat right next to Melody, that's not giving, at fear and uncomfortability and nervousness. Okay, Destiny? So here she is, throwing out the first example of, oh, why are you talking about that around me? Because y'all are grown-ass adults. Because adults talk about sexual things. Like, girlfriends, when you talk with your girls, that's topics that it's not. I don't know why Disney's acting like this is just specific to her, and that what Melody was talking about was intentional to her. She was probably a woman having a conversation with her girlfriend and just simply talking about it. But even if this was a situation of like you feeling weird out, like, damn, is this couple coming on to me? Like, are they trying to? Like sometimes there are couples out there who might be into, polyamory or polygamy, or, obviously we know there's swingers out there. There actually used to be a show. I don't know if y'all know, it was a show years ago, and it was basically about swinger couples. I used to love that show because it was like, it offered a different like viewpoint on how people handle relationships, because we're totally conditioned to feel like relationships and marriages are only supposed to look one way. And that's the problem, because everybody's getting married trying to, fulfill this box of, oh, married, kids, house, dog, like everybody's supposed to look like that, heterosexual. But no, how many people are in this world? Y'all expect all those people to fit into that one box and the relationship to work that one way? That's not gonna cut it. But yeah, it used to be called like Love on the Block, or I don't know, something like that. Y'all drop down in the comments if you know what show I'm talking about. It was years ago. And it basically was like, couples who were like in this cul-de-sac or in this like neighborhood, and a few nights out the month these couples, was knocking on doors and having key switch parties, and if you know. And so yeah, I always found that show super interesting. But nonetheless, Destiny, if you're in this situation feeling like, damn, I don't know, are they these hoes trying to invite me to their bedroom? Then that's it. That's that. You just ask them, hey, are y'all? If you felt like that was something that they were trying to do, it's nothing but a simple, you know what? I'm not into that. Thank you. I'm flattered, but that's not my MO. That's just not what I do. And that's it. That has nothing to do with like you feeling like, oh, this person is like constantly like as she said, like grooming. Using that word is like you were specifically trying to use that word for people wanting to latch onto, but two, it like making it in multiple instances in which Melody was inappropriate. And so once again, these instances that you're listing or examples, a lot of the times did not involve you, because here it is, you know, you're telling everybody, oh, you know, Melody admitted that you would do threesomes with Martell if he would act right, da 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 da. And Martell was like, but not with you though. And she was like, yeah, no. So if the threesome wasn't being initiated with you, what the actual are you talking about, Destiny? Like, what is the issue here? So then she was like, oh, you know, Melody would be like, oh, you know, stay over. Because, bitch, you my friend. And if I have a house with an extra bedroom, it's not unfamiliar for girlfriends to stay night at their friend's house. Especially if y'all come over, like Nail is over there or whatever. Y'all come over, y'all click, you know, have a couple of bottles of wine with each other. It's not that unfamiliar. But like I said, if you felt uncomfortable, you talking about you were nervous, like were you was just sleeping in the guest bedroom, just clutching your pearls all night, just, you know, like looking at the door, waiting for it to creep open. Like, come on, Destiny.
How long you gonna be doing this?
Because if that was truly how you felt, you wouldn't have maintained a relationship with Melody. The whole few seasons before you left, we watched you literally all Mel's rope, you know, just trying to climb up Mel's rope ladder to be in her circle. And so that's very contradictory to you sitting there talking about you felt like you were in a place of fear and nervous that, you know, you was finna have a couple come on to you, but you watched how she always was initiating her heat and her fire towards Melody. So then after that, when Martell was like, oh, but not with you though, she was like, yeah, not me. So once again, what do all the things you're saying have to do with you? Besides the one instance of you talking about, oh, you were over at her house and you felt like, well, why are we talking about threesomes? Like, why are we talking about, like, because we adults. Because we're adults. And we like, we're humans, okay? And sex is a part of that, especially as a couple. So it's not like, I don't know why she's acting like that's just an unfamiliar topic to talk about as married couples. Or just people in general. So then she moves from that to that next clip, which was basically her trying to out Mel for doing a little the backseat and the relax me. What is that song? Run it back like a track meet. Yeah, what's it in the backseat? Go ahead and relax me. Okay. She really was in the backseat of the limousine. Okay. And allegedly, slob, am I not? Like corn on a cup. Check in with me and do your job. Late on the bed. In this case, it was lay in the limousine. Okay, late on the bed. And give me, don't have to ask, don't have to beg. Okay? She put Melody out there like that. Were you or were you not in the back of a limousine? And she was like, what does that got to do with anything? What does it have to do with anything, Destiny? Like, what you are like, literally, what does that have to do with your ass? Okay, because here it is, you throwing it out there, and then she kept trying to make sure she asked, but did you do it? But did you do it? But did it happen? Okay, and you see Melody didn't answer though. You know, these things are separate from each other. From the fact that it happened and from the fact that you were accusing her of grooming is two different things. You were always so focused on the fact of all the things that you threw out there that it happens, and not focusing on the impact of what you were trying to say in which it happened with you. Those are two totally separate things. Every example that you gave, besides the one that you're talking about, them being at their home and feeling uncomfortable, didn't allude to your accusation of grooming, because grooming is something that is over time, right? Now, maybe in the moment you feel like, are these hoes trying to seduce me? Okay, that's fair. Like, you don't know in the moment if you got a couple coming on to you. Cool, fair. If they did that, you feel like, well, that's not my stilo. You know, you just let them know. But that doesn't mean you can't have friendships with a couple who might try to invite you to the bedroom. All that means is that's just not your thing. But we can still be friends though, like we cool. But that's it. And I feel like that's what you were trying to do. Now you're like really trying to straddle the line of feeling like, oh, you don't know if that's something that they would do with you. And now trying to connect that to all these other things that you heard about Melody. Like, that's effed up. And then I also feel like Carlos had a little bit to do with, Destiny doing that, throwing that shit out there. Because how it is, you let your whole producing crew put that in the description of the reunion. You knew that was something that was going to be a key point of people to zoom in on. So she now brings up the incident with Melody in the backseat and then go, relax me, okay? And Carlos looked at Martell like, well, Martell, what do you have to say? Martell was just like, whatever Destiny said, whatever Destiny said. And it's just kind of like, in a roundabout way, it happened, but I ain't putting it out there, And so Melody was just kind of like, but what that got to do with you, And then when nobody say nothing, and then Kimmi popped up and was like, hold on. It was only 6 of us in the limo, so how did you find out? Then Tisha popped up. Well, I told her. It was me that told her, when I was mad at Martell, for the game, because, he tried to play me, So, I told her because I was mad at Martell, and, that's how that happened, but and then immediately after Tisha was like, she told Destiny was like, Tisha, tell her how she texted the inappropriate message to Marceau. And so then it's like, wait a minute, like all these things that Destiny was just flinging out there, just throwing out there to see what would stick. But all of these examples had nothing to do with you. So make it make sense, Destiny. And so she actually ended up doing like a live, like a few days ago, where she backpedaled to Pops about maybe grooming wasn't the word. And then the little counselor that she had on there was just very much passive aggressive, but not really helping her case, because the way that the little counselor / therapist lady that was on there was talking, it was almost like she was talking to Destiny in a roundabout way, because Destiny, all of this stuff that you're talking about, oh, why are we even talking about it? Why is this being brought up? Are you forgetting the whole that you brought it up, that you're the one that brought it up? Like, you're the one that brought all this mess up. For real. So, when Destiny was like, tell her about the message, and Tisha was like, well, there was some time ago where we Marceau, everybody was counseling, talking with Melody, and Marceau messaged Melody, oh, I'm rooting for y'all or something like that. And then Melody messaged back, well, are you rooting for us or are you just rooting for me? And I just felt like that was inappropriate to text somebody who's married. Tisha, it's giving insecure. It's giving that probably happened after, the little limousine moment. So I'm thinking maybe in Tisha's mind, she's feeling like, well, if you was willing to suck in front of me and my husband, and you're texting him something like that, like, then you'd be willing to do, anything. I'm sure that's what's going on in Tisha's mind, because Marceau definitely never helped in soothing Tisha's insecurities ever since this show came on, ever. And so the fact that was your first thought process, Tisha, says more about you than it really does about Mel. And so Mel was like, if anything, I was probably texting him like, no, don't root for us, like root for me, because I'm done with that nigga. Like, the first half of, the show, it was everybody trying to help keep Melody and Martell together. But as Melody at some point was like, man, F him. Like, y'all know what this man is doing me. Y'all been known how this man is doing me. And now he got a baby on the way. Like, I'm out. Like, deuces, I don't want to be here no more. And so we obviously watched how a lot of them chose Martell's side, but now all this information is coming out by way of Destiny, though, which is like the crazy part, because all of the shit like Destiny's saying had nothing to do with her. So what was really funny was like the fact that Kimmi asked, it was giving Kimmi was like, I need to now keep a lookout for who's around me talking, shit. And so to find out that Tisha once again, in the way of trying to make Martell look bad, Melody caught a stray, is what she's saying. Because how did that example, like, I guess because Martell, when they played the game at Destiny's little thing, Martell basically put out there that Tisha, you know, was hooking up in front of him or in front of people at the thing. Like, we all grown here. Like, and most people, majority of their lifetime, have you had some type of sexual encounter and it been, you know, other people in the room or, you know, other people like, you know, on the other side of the house or in the car, whatever it may be, you know. And then Destiny brought up like, didn't you and Martell, you know, hook up with somebody else was in the bed, you know, weren't they in the bed? Like, but did it happen? Bitch, don't badger me. Don't badger the witness, bitch. I ain't got no, you ain't finna badger me. And then the fact is, if I did, what the hell does that have to do with you, Destiny? Like, it literally was just Destiny trying to do a full-on slander of Melody. And for what? What are you going to get out of it? You think throwing out all these things is going to make you more captivating to keep on the show? Because we know you need to check. Because let's be real, we really didn't get into the nitty-gritty of what was going on with Destiny this season because of the whole Sonny and Moses thing. You know, as far as Destiny's life, you really got off with your arrest and everything. But yeah, y'all, that whole Destiny shit was not, it was not, And Destiny, I think it's time for you to exit stage left because this type of, you know, verbiage and this way of being messy and throwing that stuff, shit that had nothing to do with you, it's time for you to exit stage left, in my opinion.
Lord, gee, well, you know what? I'm tired of your presence. Dismissed.
Now, what this means for you in the future, who knows? Is Destiny gonna be back next season? I don't think so. Hell, she might be a little part-time situation because now that Melody's gone, what they gonna have? Now, the funny part is if Kimmi ass get on Tisha for telling the shit that happened, because you telling business and trying to make Martell look bad now got all of us wrapped up in this shit because it, like Kimmi said, it was only 6 of us in there. So now everybody who was in that situation has now been, what they say in the courtroom, you know, accomplice, okay, are now accomplices in the situation. But Carlos at the very end had to wrap it all up like, well, you know, you guys, I just will have to say that, you know, we've known y'all for a long time. Y'all have gathered, you know, a friendship and through the years. And I can definitely say through being around all of you, I have never seen or experienced, you know, inappropriateness, you know, from any of the couples. Like, that was Carlos trying to put a quick band-aid on the shit because he knew the shit wasn't making sense that Destiny said. Oh, and then in one part too, when Destiny kept trying to, but did it happen? This so crazy, you know, how dare you? Nobody's gonna get on their knees and suck some dick in front of people unless they feel like they want them to join in. First of all, one, no. Have you ever heard of voyeurism? There are a lot of people who either like to watch other people get it in or like to get it in and have people watch. You know, there are different things that people are into. Just because I do something in front of you doesn't mean I want you to join in. Girl, you obviously don't know the rules of the club, okay? How you hating from outside of the club and you can't even get in? And then during the season, she's like, that's why I could have had you. Like, everything Destiny did of those was like attacking Mel, but all still at the same time, you still trying to ride Melody's dick. Like, it made no sense. You are literally eating corn chips out of Melody's asshole this whole season. And then, like, once again, like I said, if you're feeling groomed, you completely just X'd out Martell out of the whole situation. You still friends with Martell, so you still nervous and all those things. But then in her live, I don't know if y'all watched it or if y'all go watch Bonnie Blue's video, she kind of did a little recap of it. When Destiny was like, oh yeah, I know, like, I wasn't just saying like, oh, you know, I was so scared and stuff like that. That's not what I was saying. But bitch, yes, it was. That was what you were saying. You can't be nervous but not in fear at the same time. Like, which one is it? Like, you felt like all of these things were so inappropriate, shouldn't have been done, but yet you still maintain trying to be a friend with this woman. Make it make sense. So yeah, when Destiny was throwing out all that stuff, to my that's grooming, that's grooming. She looked at Marcel and Tisha was like, have y'all ever felt me coming on to you, or felt like I was trying to have a threesome with you or whatever? And before Tisha could answer, that's when Destiny threw out, Tisha, tell me about the inappropriate text message. Like, it was just literally just all things of just trying, like, she was going for the gusto. Destiny felt like, bitch, I'm on my way out. If I am on my way out, or Millie's on her way out, like, I'm gonna make sure I go out with a bang. In some instances, is what it's giving. But Destiny, all you did was make yourself look bad. All you did was make people not want to check in on Madani. Once again, you still a Madani out of a storage unit. Like, I mean, we just gonna call it what it is. And this is the third agreeing reopening of Madani. Maybe, just maybe, your life's not panning out because you keep putting out bad energy in the universe. Destiny, you carry a very stank, raunch, chip on your shoulder attitude, and a lot of people, sometimes don't think in regards to their own life. They feel like it's messed up and ain't nothing going right and everything. Same shit I be telling Martell in my reviews. When a lot of people get to complain about how their life is and how other people this, and that, something you learn when you actually take on, being introspective in your life and trying to do better, hell, therapy. One of the things you learn is the first thing in trying to figure out how to fix your life and where you're hurting is, one, to ask yourself, what part do you play in your own suffering? Destiny, that's now the question that you need to start asking yourself. What part do you play in your own suffering, ho? Because this right here was not the suffering that is just causing so much, chaos and confusion and hurt and, just vengeance in your life. It's not. Because Melody ain't spent no time around you enough to even be talking about some grooming shit. Like, all of the stuff she threw out literally just pissed me off because none of it had anything to do with Destiny. None of it. So now going forward, you've now isolated yourself for one, and two, now ain't nobody finna do nothing around you, bitch, because can't nobody trust your ass. Like, now everybody knows you ain't worth a damn and can't hold water. Just literally can't hold water, like a bucket full of holes in it, okay? But yeah, you guys, that was a situation with Destiny. I just want to come and talk to y'all real fast about that. Y'all drop in the comments, what y'all think about Destiny coming after Melody? Do y'all feel like it was grooming? Do you feel like Destiny just used the wrong word? Do you feel like Destiny had a right to feel uncomfortable around Melody? Do you feel like this was just her trying to make Melody look bad? Yeah, Destiny, I ain't got nothing for your ass. Like, this is it. Case closed. Moving on. Hope your life, does well. Obviously, the chicken ain't serving you no more. So you just mad at everybody. And you just misery loves company ass bitch. That's what it's giving right now. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll catch y'all hoes later. Deuces.